The top 10 left-handed guitar manufacturers. Hi friends, I'm back with another video, and this episode being episode two, three, I can't count, 3. We're going to be looking at the top 10 left-handed guitar manufacturers. This is going to be my list, my opinion, obviously. Everyone will have their own. Just thought I'd throw this thing together and see what one I'd come up with, because it's actually been a while since I had a look at to see what's about. So it should be a good list. But this is greetings from lockdown 3 in the UK. I don't know how you guys are doing in your respective countries. We definitely are batting down the hatches, stay at home, just falling into the sofa and never reappearing. It's pretty humdrum, really. It's pretty day to day the same. So actually this is a bit of a blessed release, to be honest. Anyway, so I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're managing well, and you're okay with this horrible COVID thing that's got us all on the back foot. Hope you're staying safe, wearing your masks, etc., doing as they tell you. Oh, yes, sir. Right, let's move on. The top 10 left-handed guitar manufacturers. What have I chosen? Well, let's start with number 10. So this 5 to 10 list is going to be interchangeable. I think some of it's too hard to call. So you could interchange any of these between 5 and 10, and it would still sit fine. So really, I'm just reading these out as first come, first served basis. So at number 10, we've got Ibanez. So a guitar manufacturer that was a favourite of mine in years gone by, and the reason isn't because of the amount of left-handers they produce, because they don't produce that many, and I don't see this year being any different. I haven't really seen too much of what's at NAMM this year, or how that's going to go, actually, given the circumstances. But I have seen a couple of models that I do like, and this tends to be what they do, is they will stick out a couple of left-handers in the RG department. I should say, by the way, that this list is a list...
Nope.
That is for what I'd call the working musician, in inverted commas. So we're not talking beginners guitars, we're not talking collectors guitars necessarily, we're talking about something from tier 2, tier 3, kind of between the 500 up to maybe $1.5 grand, $2 grand mark. Perhaps a little bit over for one manufacturer. I wonder if you can guess which one that is. But yeah, so that's what this list is. Anyway, so getting back to Ibanez, the RG models that they produce in the past have been very good, and their quality is fantastic. The reason I've loved their guitars is because they're pretty light, often opting for basswood, however you say that. Sometimes opting for mahogany, so that's not always the case. And I think these last couple of years they've gone for mahogany, so they can be a tad on the heavy side if needed. But I've always found the ones I've got to be light, and colour schemes they've gone from being a dull black to experimenting a little bit more, and I've liked that. So they've come up with a few nice colours, like a nebula burst. I had one of those. So they don't produce that much, but what they do produce is a very, very good quality, Japanese made. All the guitars, in terms of fit and finish, absolutely spot on. Couldn't argue with it. Dead easy to set up. So that's number 10. What have we got at number 9? So coming in at number 9 is a relative newcomer. Well, at least to me. I haven't really known much about this brand, but they're called Revend. And I first got onto this because of Billy Corgan and the fact that he's got a signature model out. And yeah, I'm keen on that guitar. I like it. It's a nice offset style guitars, all of them are. And it's just a bit different, shaking up the market a little bit, and I like that. So I mean, Billy Corgan is I'm a big fan of his. I mean, I've loved his tonal. Siamese Dream, it was just incredible. So that guitar must rock out, I would have thought. Twin humbuckers in the signature. That's not always the case. They have got quite varied, although the shape doesn't vary that much. The actual configuration and what they've got on there does. So check them out because, they're quite an exciting young brand, and I'll be interested to see where they go. Okay, number 8. At number 8, we have long-standing manufacturer PRS with their SE line of guitars. Good, solid builds, every single one of them. And in a few colours as well. I'm mad keen on one model which has got an ebony neck. And I'm just trying to wrap my brain. It's the SE Custom 24, and I think it is charcoal finish. Really, really nice guitar. I think that's a year past, but anyway. The rest of them are really, really well built as well. Absolutely a guitar to check out. I mean, in that price bracket, around sort of between 600 and 800, you can't really complain. I mean, they're fabulous looking guitars, and they're not afraid to stretch out sometimes with a roasted maple neck. Really nice looking guitars. That's number 8. Number 7, I've chosen my recent purchase brand, BCRICH. They seem to be offering this time around a number of different options in left hand, including their classics. Warlock is available, the Mockingbird is available in left hand, and of course we have the new Shredzillas, which is more of a super strat style guitar. Very well made. I mean, this is from my experience. Very well made. Perhaps a bit blingy for some. I'm not sure where they go. I don't know if it's just the Shredzillas that have the overdose of abalone, but there may be other guitars that do that. But their shapes are certainly still wild. But what else would you expect from BCRICH, man? I mean, that they were classic with the Rich Bitch back in the 80s. I mean, they're not known for doing sort of traditional guitars. They go out there, and that's great. I love it. Okay, so number 6, a surprise entry. Now, I've got to admit, don't know an awful lot about this brand because I don't know, we've always just never crossed paths. It's Gordon Smith, and the reason why it crossed my mind was because they're the only one that I know of that will sell their left-handed version guitar the same price as the right-handed version. Now, that's something that doesn't often happen. So I'm very impressed with that. Their builds, from what I've heard, they're good quality, a good mid-tier guitar. You can't go wrong. I think they have their own in-house pickups. I'd have to be corrected on that because I can't actually remember at the moment. But I think they're definitely worth a look in the future. Gordon Smith. Number 5. So we got to the top 5. Okay, and the top 5 is going to be the usual suspects. And I've only done this because this is my experience. So you could change this about as you wish. We're going to start with number 5, which is I've just remembered, which is actually a slight surprise, which is Gretsch. But they have their high tier Player Maker series, Player Series, I think it's called, and they're really high class. I mean, of all the guitar brands, I think out of the top 10, I think Gretsch is one of the most beautiful. They are, if I had the money, I would certainly buy one. The problem is, I have to buy to what I'm going to be playing and recording. So Gretsch doesn't always fit in with the kind of thing that I want to be playing. That's the only reason I don't have one. I would love to play one. I think they're beautiful guitars, and their range down the lower tier, their electromagnetic series and their Streamliner series. My God, man, they've got some smashing colours. Lovely greens and blues and blacks, and they're every colour is a winner. And yeah, I would love to own one of those. And, I'm going to stick it on my bucket list. I'm going to get one before I pop it. Definitely. Okay, so number 4 is ESP, one of my favourites. I have owned an EC1000 before and found it to be very well put together, very well, easy playability, lots of the, so we've got locking tuners, good pickups, CMGs, depending on how you feel about them, good quality hardware, and a kind of a body that's not too heavy, and good colours. I think mine was a satin feel, so it did pick up marks a little bit, but it was a really nice guitar. Now the EC1000 has actually branched out way beyond that. If you have a look now on the net, you've got some fantastic colours. There's even the Violet Andromeda. Oh man, that guitar is beautiful. I would love to have one of those. Oh, that colour is just something else, because depending on where you look at it in the lights, it just shines a different colour. It's absolutely fantastic. So their EC range alone, which is kind of a bit Les Paulish in a way, but very modernised, and certainly more for the rock and metal player, I think. And you could argue that ESP are kind of designed for that anyway, and they do have more sort of classy ones. I mean, the EC is fairly classy as well. But they have their own Flying V series, and the name escapes me. But they also have they do limited runs of things, and there's the Horizon E2 series. We mustn't forget that, which is a tad more expensive and actually almost hits that 2000 tier. So I've seen a few of them around that. But there are some really nice shapes and colours in that department. The only thing that annoys me about that, it's probably the only negative thing I've said so far, but it's a testament to how good guitars are made, how well they're made these days. The quality is just excellent all round. The only minor argument I've got is, could you not put ESP on the front instead of sticking it on the back? I mean, once you start paying that amount of pound/dollar, then don't you deserve to have ESP on the front? I know they do their ESPs, handmade, they're kind of like $3,000 or something crazy. But, you've shelled out $2,000 near enough. You deserve to have ESP on the headstock. That's just me, but minor gripe. Everything else in their range is fantastic. They've even got their 87 Mirage series, which I'm hoping to get and review in the near future. I've seen it. I've seen one I like. You might argue with me in the colour, but yeah, we'll see what we see. I'm hoping to get one. But yeah, fantastic 80s guitar. The Optimum of the Mirage that was released in the 80s, it's just perfect. It looks exactly like it. Bolt-on neck. Think it comes in just a couple of colours. One is pink. One is, I can't remember what the other one is. Is it green or blue? It might be blue. Anyway, but they look fantastic. Look them up. And you're not paying that much for them either. Problem is, can't get them in the UK, guys. UK people. You have to look into different countries to get them, and that's what I'm doing. I'm spreading my wings beyond the UK manufacturers. Not for the first time, actually. I have guitars dotted from every different country other than England. Just don't seem to be able to get them. Anyway, so they have quite a vast range. They're probably the number on the list that has the biggest range. Gretsch, not bad. The rest of the top 10, very limited. Now we're getting down to those guys who have a good range of guitars that you can buy. Okay, so number 3. These are a couple of contentious ones where you'd put them, but I put them in Fender at number 3. Yeah, been around forever, great brand, always fairly trustworthy. You're going to get a good axe when you get a Fender. From the Mexican range down the bottom sort of the bottom end of things, which is a great beginner's guitar actually, if you can fork out that much. So you're talking about 400-500, maybe less on the used market. But a great beginner's guitar. Or we can go for the USA series, which again is not. It's breaking the bank a bit, but it's not crazy money. And you do get. I've got a USA model Stratocaster, and it's worth every penny. It's absolutely fantastic. Plays great, easy to set up. And yeah, I think they've gone into calling it the American Pro Series now. But it's sort of just rebadging what it is, really. But they've got some lovely colours coming out. I think there's a couple of greens. There's is there a Mystic Blue, something like that in there? So, you know, a great brand, always trustworthy. You can't go wrong. And the same could be said now of number 2, Gibson. I've got Les Paul. I've got Les Pauls. Lucky enough to own those, and I will be showing you them in the near future, and I found them to be fantastic. I went to a guitar shop, little story, I went to a guitar shop to try one out, and there was actually a couple of models. There was a studio and a standard, and they've been left on the shelf for ages. I don't know if you ever get this, and the action was way high, and I couldn't give it a proper run through, and I was kind of a bit put off, and I thought, oh my god, is this what I'm gonna get? Action you could get a bus under, and you know, it was dusty. I think the strings were really old. I thought, I'm not, you know, it just taints, you know, it's a good brand, but it just taints how you feel about it. Anyway, I ordered one, and it was smashing right out of the box. It played fantastic, and it was. I've got two. I've got a green one, and I've got a cobalt blue one, and they're both fantastic. So there are those that say that Gibson are still having their problems in terms of, you know, the guitars are too modern. They're not traditional enough. There's not enough of the traditional Les Paul colours around, and their fit and finishing still leaves a bit to be desired. I didn't find that, and I'm happy with the colours. That's just me. I was never crazy on the original traditional colours. I know that's heresy, but that's how I feel. I like the colours they're bringing out. You know, there's nothing wrong with bringing out a couple of traditional models anyway, and they do have the traditional line as well as the classic line. But you can, you know, the range is great. You've got a lot of different models of guitar that you can buy, not just the Les Pauls, but the 335s, the specials. So, you know, you can't argue with that. Okay, so we've got to number 1, and this is another one I'm hoping to get a guitar from, which is Schecter, and they have just gone whoosh into the stratosphere with their guitars. They started off with the kind of very metal Damien and the Omen style guitars with crosses on, and it was all a bit too tacky metal for me, and I wasn't so keen. The guitars looked quite nice, and they certainly played well, but it put me off a bit. But now they seem to have dropped that a bit. They still have that line. I mean, they also are one of the only brand, apart from maybe Ibanez, that does the 7-string as well. Maybe 8 if you want it. So I think Ibanez does a 7-string for us guys, as left-handers. But yeah, the only other guys, Schecters. And they don't just do one. They do almost every model. And it's fantastic. Keep it up, guys. We love you. Their finishes are fantastic. They're really coming out with some contemporary colours. I'm going to try, if I can get the money together, I'm going to try and order a GTFR because it looks just a sleek, crazy machine. I think Trogley's, if you follow Trogley, he has one on his channel that he reviews, a purple colour, and I think he agreed as well that it was a very good guitar. Not as light as it made out though, so that's somewhat concerning for me, so we'll have to see. But yeah, really dig what Schecter are doing now. They're fantastic. Okay, That was my top 10. Do you agree? Do you disagree vehemently? Do you think it's absolutely all wrong? Now, there is a couple of shout-outs. I'm not sure how you say this. I think it's a French company. I could be wrong. It's Balaguer. They look like some smashing models that they're bringing out. You can also... I should also say, not only them... They have their own in-house configurator, so you can put together your own guitar and get it to the price you want, and press order, and they will buy it, order it to you. I nearly said that. And I was going to say, and I forgot, that if you're in the USA, if you're not tough, if you are in the USA, you can look up ESP's configurator as well, because they have one as well. There are some left-handed models, not every one, but there are some left-handed models that you can, base models that you can configure yourself. So you can decide what pickups go in, what colour it is, what wood you're going for. So that's quite useful, but you are going to pay through the nose a bit for it. That's the only thing. Framus is another one, German company that have for a while now been doing some cracking left-handed models. They look like they'd be a bit too heavy for me and my fragile back, but you know, they're very, very good guitars. There's probably others, and the names I forget. Please let me know what they are in the comments, by all means. If you think I've missed anything, but by all means, stick it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. At all, actually. Be the first to comment. Say something positive. Let me know. It's worth my while continuing to do this. I love doing this anyway, you know. I mean, I suppose if I do 20 or 30 videos, maybe if I've got absolutely nobody, I might call it quits then. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, so that was my top 10. So we're going to move on to a review next. So stick around for that one next week. And yes, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you get notified when you get a new video up from me. As always, cheerio, folks.